in the base is he's actually rallied his Druids of the Claw to his Tree of Life and not to the army, because it is so easy to get units ganked by a Blademaster and Ensnare and such that you really don't want to have to deal with the potential for incredible damage up. And this is very intelligent. He town portals knowing that he is going to get screwed. And just the quick TP out. Shadowhunter, real quick, you can see has some very nice items if you turn off Fog or if you clicked it before you town portaled. Shadowhunter with a lot of mana, and that's really problematic for Elf in these matchups, is that the Shadowhunter just refuses to let units die, and as long as he's level 3 or higher, again, you're not going to kill stuff very easily. When your units are all ensnared, and theirs are all spirit linked, when his stuff is linked and your stuff's ensnared, he can very, very easily pull units back. And honestly, Orcs against Elves who are going Bears, I know it's difficult. Sorry. I know it's difficult, but you really, really should be able to keep your units alive. Now, yes, if you're all at 12 HP and he's just in your base, you're screwed. But in terms of a standard battle, it really should be very, very easy for you to pull back units before they die, with all the abilities you have for saving them. But we see here now that these bears are 1-on-1. Again, what I was going to say earlier is that he probably got his first attack upgrade when he had 50 food, and then upon sort of starting his second upgrade, the armor upgrade, he probably then macroed up towards 80, because you already had 57 food when the thing completed, which means you started it before he broke upkeep. So that's just sort of more proof to the whole abuse upkeep when you're playing Elf. Montage is the wrong word, I apologize, motto. And that's to hit 1-1 in your choice units before you break 50 food, or at least start it. That's just what's probably just should happen, very truthfully. So now he has double Orb of Venom, and that's extremely powerful for this matchup, because again, when you're versus things like grunts and raiders and the Blademaster that are going to get pulled back, or that aren't going to die because they're going to ensnare you, well, he'll micro it back, but you're still going to do full damage for the Orb of Venom. And whether you kill the unit in question or not, what is going to happen is you're going to end up getting the rest of that damage output through Spirit Link to the rest of the army. And so by getting, there's like 9 damage per second both times, you're actually getting a lot of actual real damage output. So there's the Windwalk. You can see what he goes for. He hasn't even attacked yet. The Blademaster actually not being in use. This is actually very bad mic. There we go. Finally shows up on the Keeper of the Grove, and you can see how much damage is available. And I think that Chet consciously had one of his bears in normal form so that he could go for this Blademaster, or rather go for healing when the Blademaster decided he wasn't going to do anything anymore. You can see the Demon Hunter now has cast many mana birds now on the Shadow Hunter. You can see that he casts a mana potion. He's trying to get a chain heal off, but he's not even doing it. There we go. He actually almost got that cancelled from him. And you can see just these Druids of the Claw, very well microed. He is losing some food slowly over time, and a lot of things are Spirit Link, but it just doesn't quite matter. You see just how well this Demon Hunter can wreak havoc on the back lines. Once he's no longer an efficient target, he just starts destroying stuff with the orb, with his levels, with everything. Has to pull back here knowing he's getting ensnared, and again, just the refocus. And yeah, okay, you've eaten multiple of my bears, but it doesn't quite matter, because my Demon Hunter beasts on kids, my Orb of Venom does a ton of damage, and the slippery slope dynamic of just having this damage output is very, very powerful. And it is actually quite difficult for Orcs to beat this. As a quick Hey Phreak is awesome anecdote, I actually, back before Zakard retired, back first BlizzCon style, I actually played just a couple practice games against him. The only time I ever played this player. And of course he's extremely phenomenal, and I think the first game I got destroyed. No, I don't know. I don't know how the first game went, but we played 2 games, and it was like tearing a stand, and something happened. But game 2, it was Twisted Meadows on this map, and I just went standard DH Keeper, Mass Bear, and I got destroyed early game. I lost heroes, I lost portals, I lost all my huntresses. It was ugly. And then mid game and late game ran around, and all I did was okay, 50 food bear, 1 upgrade, creep the map. Okay, I'm 4/4. Let's go attack move, and he got freaking pooped on. It was funny. He literally couldn't do anything to my army, because a giant, just huge clusterfuck of mass bears is just so powerful against Orc. It's very, very difficult for Orc to withstand that. And if you look at the resources tab, you look at sort of tech percentage, Violet with not a lot of upgrades, considering that he got adept training, considering that he got ensnare. I'm actually not certain that he even got any upgrades at all for his actual units. I know I could have checked and actually answered that for you, but if you consider, the else research were the two bear upgrades and dispel, and then with 1 upgrade, that's 21%. And I feel like Violet did not have that many upgrades for himself. So Violet not having good enough units, I think that's really a pretty key point. Is that he really needed to have. First of all, you really need a giant wall of Spirit Walkers, and I don't think he really had enough. He had like 4, I believe, unless I completely miscounted. You need a freaking crap ton of Spirit Walkers. Those are your damage output. They do like 20 average damage or more for only 3 food, which is quite significant. But they're doing double that to the bears. And yes, okay, they have armor upgrades, whatever. But you're doing, honestly, counting armor, 30 damage for 3 food, which is better than anything. You're doing equivalent to what bears are doing, which is 40 damage for 4 food. Plus, these guys get to Spirit Link and Disenchant. And okay, yes, bears can roar and do all that stuff. But honestly, Spirit Walkers are the bears of the Orc army as far as damage output is concerned. I mean, honestly, do the math. They're the bears of the Orc army. And again, they do double damage to bears and stuff. They will disenchant all the Rejuves and all the Spirit Links. And honestly, it seemed like, when that Blademaster came in and focused on the Keep of the Grove, and then he got down to half. Wow. He got down to half HP within like 3 clicks. Then he got Rejuved. In 1 disenchant, because he just morphed that bear into a bear form instead of druid form right after he cast that rejuvenation, he could have had that keeper extremely low. And honestly, I feel like the entire time the orc should be going for the Keeper of the Grove with his Blademaster. He's never going to go for the blade because he's just too good, or he's just not a good enough target. Wow, my voice. He's just not a good enough target to go for because of his armor and whatnot. And yeah, okay, it might be possible to force him out of the battle. It might. And in a late game enough battle where you have that many bears, you can potentially focus the Blademaster. But just with 1 lesser invulnerability potion, you can get out of any situation. You can take it however hard you want, whether you get down to 12 HP or 200. Okay, pop your invulnerability potion, maybe you Windwalk or whatever, and then you tag a Chain Heal and get Spirit Linked, and you can just fight in the front lines and be normal. If you're in the back, it's pretty easy to surround you with bears and get a lot of damage output on you. If you're in the front lines surrounded by grunts and raiders, you're going to get maybe 2 units on you at any given time, which is enough to survive with Spirit Link and Chain Heal. So, very, very easy to sort of withstand a Blademaster, of course, with bears. But I feel like a couple of mistakes from Violet. Not dispelling rejuvenation, not really upgrading, and not getting enough walkers. So, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you enjoyed it very much. I hope you learned something. And if you want lessons and you love me, feel free to email me, phreakwr@gmail.com, or PM me on the site. Bye, everyone.